Greetings to our beloved regional presidents, President Damian Dunkley of Asia-Pacific 1 and President Masaichi Hori of Asia-Pacific 2. Dr. Robert Kittle, Cheonbo Branch Chair of Heavenly Asia-Pacific, Reverend Incheon Kim, Director of H.J. Cheonbo Asia-Pacific Branch, to all our dear leaders, Cheonbos, brothers and sisters, Annyeonghasimnika. I would like to share with you a message entitled, The Life of Conveying the Blessings from Heaven. Do you still remember the very first sentence written in the introduction part of the book, The Exposition of the Divine Principle? The very first sentence reads, "Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune." In a sense, it is a common desire for all people to be happy in their lives and dream of having a good fortune. You know, as we are now in this new year, the year of the black tiger, which is a symbol of dynamism, courage, confidence, and strength. You know, there are many people living on this planet that at the beginning of its year, regardless of whether they are from the East or the West, they show so much interest in checking their fortune for that year. Though they are trying to find out what their fortune will be like for the new year. Just as individuals have their own fortune, families, nations, and the world also have their own fortune. And in the same vein, all of heaven and earth are influenced by heavenly fortune. You know, even if a person is born of good fortune as an individual, when his or her family suffers misfortune, he or she has to endure it. Similarly, even if a person is born with a good fortune as an individual and also as a family, when his or her nation's fortune becomes bad, whether they like it or not, they will also be affected. Furthermore, national fortune or situation of the entire world is determined by the direction and progress of heavenly fortune, which, encompasses all principles of the world. That means establishing the heavenly way in the world signifies shaping the fortune of an individual or nation and the world to be, in connection with this heavenly fortune. So how will heavenly fortune come to you? Ever wonder how you could improve your fortune and avoid misfortune? Actually, there is a book which is entitled Luck Factor, which is a scientific research on luck. The book is written by Dr. Richard Wiseman, a professor of psychology and an author of many best-selling books. So this book actually gave an account of the studies he made with over 1,000 people. It turns out, that some people are very unlucky. For example, in this book, there is one woman who experienced 8 car accidents that happened in her 150-mile journey. Can you imagine that? And she was also unlucky in love. After joining a dating agency, her first date fell off his motorcycle and broke his leg. Then, the second date walked into a glass door and broke his leg and broke his nose. Eventually, she met her future husband. And you know what? The church, which they are going to get married, was burned down the day before their wedding. So unfortunate, isn't it? So, but what was highlighted in this study is that people can actually change their luck or fortune in their life. And in that book, he summarized some essential principles in order to enhance the amount of luck or good fortune in their life. So what are these 4 essential principles? First, maximize opportunities, which means increasing what we call chance opportunities. Research shows that the old saying is true: what you regret the most are the things that you failed to do. Second, listen to hunches, or the ability to listen to your intuition. Lucky people act on their intuitions, or what we call gut feelings, across many areas of their lives. Actually, almost 90% of lucky people said that they trusted their intuition. Third, expect good fortune. That means enhancing the ability in having positive expectations. And number 4, turn bad luck into good. So this means adopting a resilient attitude that transforms bad fortune into good fortune. Lucky people are convinced that any ill fortune in their lives will, in the long run, work out for the best. So if we are to understand these 4 principles, essential principles laid out in this book, Luck Factor, actually, we could connect it with the divine principle. So number 1, maximizing opportunities could be related to the principle of participation and inheritance. Heavenly fortune and heavenly opportunities will come to those who participate in God's providence and gain the right to inherit heavenly fortune. Second, listening to hunches, or the ability to listen to your intuition, is actually pertaining to the principle of spiritual cooperation. That means, we have to believe in the reality and the existence of the spiritual world. How much the spirit world and each of our own spiritual background, our ancestors, are affecting the way we are living our life in this earthly world. That is why, when we liberate and bless our ancestors, we actually enhance more spiritual cooperation and allow more heavenly fortune to flow in our families. Number 3, expect good fortune, which pertains to our practice of absolute faith. This is, our conviction that no matter what, God, our Heavenly Parent, is in total control. And it is important how we can create the condition of unity of heart with our Heavenly Parent, no matter how difficult the situation is. And number 4, turn bad luck into good, or the attitude that we transform good fortune, bad fortune into good fortune. This is actually what? This is pertaining to the principle of indemnity. Then, we become more positive. We become more resilient. We can overcome any difficult situations in our life, and we willingly go the way of sacrifice. Why? Because we understand that when we do this, we are actually offering an indemnity condition. So therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, whenever we think of fortune, we cannot separate it from the fulfillment of our portion of responsibility. So let us read from the divine principle. God's will and human responsibility. God's purpose of creation can be realized only when human beings complete their portion of responsibility. Although God's will to realize this purpose through the providence of restoration is absolute and beyond human influence, its fulfillment necessarily requires the accomplishment of the human portion of responsibility. So, brothers and sisters, we cannot separate blessing and responsibility. Do you still remember the parable of the talent or the parable of the treasures? In the Bible, it says that a master, before leaving for another country, he left to his 3 servants his treasures. To one servant, he gave 5, and to another one, he gave 2 treasure, and to the third one, he gave 1 treasure or talent. And then after being out for some time, he came back. And these 3 servants came and then reported to their master. The one which received 5 doubled it and gave another 5. The one who received 2 talents doubled it also and gave another 2. But the other one, the other servant who received only 1 talent or treasure, what did he do? He buried it. He buried it. And eventually, the master was not pleased with what his servant has done, and so this treasure was taken away from him. In Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 29, we can read that story. And there we can read, "For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have, will be taken from them." So, brothers and sisters, this is a reminder how important is the fulfillment of our own portion of responsibility. In fact, the Bible tells us, "Open wide your mouth, and I will fill it." What does this mean? This means, brothers and sisters, that even though God wanted to pour out blessings unto us, still we are responsible to open wide our mouth and receive abundant blessings. So let us go back with the principle of how we can attract heavenly fortune. What is the secret in attracting heavenly fortune? So we can look at it from this picture. So what you can see here is the waterfalls, right? So water flows from up to down, right? So when one stands in a lowly position based on an attitude of humility, this is actually an environment that is desired and yearned for by heaven. Definitely, heavenly fortune will naturally, find its way to him or her. So that's why when you stand in a low position, everything that you desire and yearn for will be supplied automatically. Just like air and water flow down and fill the lower places, heavenly fortune follows the same principle and flows down. Let me read with you what True Father said about this. "When you endlessly give to others, you become a void, like a low-pressure area. However, since you are pushing yourself in one direction, the spirit world builds into a high-pressure zone. Therefore, when you pass away, the high spiritual pressure will wash over you, and all the good deeds committed over 1,000 years will burst forth and place you at the peak of a mountain that will stand for tens of thousands of years." Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, our beloved true parents make the wind of heavenly fortune blow. If there is a low pressure, the wind of high pressure is made to blow. So that is why when we pray with utmost sincerity and devotion and ask for help, and then we always try to sacrifice ourselves in order to serve others, even if we are in a region of low pressure, heavenly fortune meets Heavenly Parents' love of high pressure, and this will blow upon us like a storm. So for us to receive heavenly fortune, we first need to know the path of which heavenly fortune travels. Aju? So what does the family pledge number 6 tell us? I would like to read. Our family, the owner of Cheonbo, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying Heavenly Parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessings to our community by centering on true love. You know, there are 2 very important points about family pledge number 6. First is that our family, as the owner of Cheonbo, should become what? Should become a family that moves heavenly fortune. In what way? By embodying Heavenly Parent and true parents. That means by becoming representatives of Heavenly Parents and true parents. Aju? And then what is the second important point? That we should perfect our family that conveys or shares heaven's blessings to others. So these are the 2 very important points in family pledge number 6. Our beloved True Mother said last 2020 during the victory celebration of the Cheonbo Festival, True Mother said, the gates to Cheonbo under heaven's governance have been opened. In that case, there need also to be people who can be qualified as the citizens of Cheonbo. So this qualification is not obtained simply by receiving the blessing. There is a period of growth. That is a duty and responsibility. Therefore, the status of a family will be determined by how much responsibility that family takes on and how the family does in fulfilling it. So from this, my dear brothers and sisters, we clearly understand that our qualification to become citizens of Cheonbo is not simply obtained by being blessed. You know, even though we are not qualified to receive the blessing, our beloved true parents qualified us. So therefore, what remains to be done is how we can establish the condition of having fulfilled our own portion of responsibility. Furthermore, True Mother said, hence all blessed couples around the world need to fulfill the responsibility as tribal messiahs and become couples that are inducted as Cheonbo. And they should not stop there, but continue to advance for generations to come. As Cheonbo couples, how much have you expanded your domain here on earth during this time that True Mother, God's only begotten daughter, has been with you? This will become your asset in the eternal world. So what will become our asset in the eternal world? It is how much we have expanded our domain on the earth as victorious Cheonbo families. Aju? So therefore, where there is blessing, there is what? There is always multiplication. In the Bible, in Genesis chapter 22, verse 17 to 18, it reads, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Aju? My dear brothers and sisters, as we recite every day in our family pledge, we need to become families that can move heavenly fortune. And to do so, we have to really connect to heaven's blessing, connecting heaven's blessing to other people. As true father said, what have true parents done? They became the family that can stand in God's place and move heavenly fortune. In the same way, Father said, in the same way, you must become one with true parents and become families that can move heavenly fortune and connect heaven's blessing to the people around you. You cannot do this by yourself. Father said, you need to make the families around you like your family. Very clear direction from our true parents. Aju? And also, we are all to become channels of God and true parents' blessing for others. True Father emphasized about this point, and I would like to read. Father said, we are making a vow to become a channel of God's blessing, sharing His blessing equally with all the people of the world. The family of God and the true parents is one family. There is one set of true parents. However, since there are many blessed families throughout the world, God wants all of them to become channels that share the blessing of God and true parents with others. Yes, our Heavenly Parent wants all of us, all blessed families, to become channels that share the blessings with others. This is the way that our families can move heavenly fortune. It is when we share the blessing of our Heavenly Parent and true parents to others. In what way? Yes, through the fulfillment of our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs. It is by becoming victorious Cheonbo families and expand the realms of Cheonbo. Indeed, we carried the greatest blessing of all time. In a speech given by our beloved True Mother during True Father's 1000th Day Memorial Celebration, she emphasized our responsibilities as blessed families. And True Mother said, this is the responsibility that you have been blessed with as blessed families. That is why we need to expand the good spiritual heavenly sphere. And we do this by increasing the people who are on the side of God, the people who are living centered on true parents. This is our blessing, our responsibility. I repeat, this is our blessing, our responsibility. Yes, we cannot stay as seeds forever. Eventually, that seed will have to grow and become a new plant and then continue to expand into a beautiful garden of flowers. Aju? And this is actually the path towards becoming a Cheonbo, becoming a heavenly treasure. As an individual, we strive to become shining treasures of heaven. Then eventually, as blessed family and as a tribe, we aspire how we could become Cheonbo. As a Cheonbo, we are actually given the best opportunity how we can increase our capacity of love to be able to embrace more families. So this is the model that our beloved true parents have shown to us in their life, how we could multiply our love to other people. So therefore, brothers and sisters, when we think of the Cheonbo, we have to realize that this is not a new providence given to us by our true parents. In fact, Cheonbo is the original path given to us by God, our Heavenly Parent. As True Mother said, how long we have been waiting for this one day. Our Heavenly Parent has wanted to fulfill His dreams together with His children on earth. However, the fall filled our Heavenly Parent with so much pain. How difficult it has been for Him, how much He has endured, how long He has waited for this moment. The families inducted as Cheonbo today are the authentic citizens of Cheonilgup, registered as the original, clear and pure Cheonbo that Heavenly Parent has dreamed of seeing. So Cheonbo is the sure way of inheriting our true parents' victory and inherit heavenly fortune for your family and for your descendants from generation to generation. How wonderful that we are given such an opportunity. Aju? So Cheonbo is the way to expand the realm of Heavenly Parents' love, both here in the physical world and in the spiritual world. Cheonbo is actually, like the intersection point of the vertical axis where we can complete our vertical responsibility, and that is to liberate and bless our ancestors. And then the horizontal axis where we can complete the responsibility to bless our tribe of 430 couples. This is the way of Cheonbo. This is the inevitable way that all of us, all our blessed families, must go and to become true citizens of Cheonilgup. Aju? So Cheonbo is our original path. This is the very wish and dream of our Heavenly Parent. As True Mother said, do you know how much God has endured and waited? 6,000 years and another 60 years. We cannot make God wait any longer. That is why I emphasize the importance of the time we have on earth. Blessed families and Cheonbo families are responsible to actualize the kingdom of heaven on earth during their earthly lifetime. So my dear brothers and sisters, we have to remember the way of Cheonbo is our original path to salvation, original path towards complete restoration. All of us started off as members as we go the way of perfecting ourselves, our character, which is actually the first blessing. Then we receive the blessing and become blessed family, which opened the way for us to perfect, to perfect our marriage and family. And then cutting off our satanic blood lineage and allowing us to inherit God's original lineage and have our beautiful, blessed children. However, as you can see, it does not stop there. You need to graduate from just being blessed families. Our original path is to ultimately become Cheonbo families towards the perfection of dominion. Third blessing. Aju? So I would like to end by reading to you True Mother's words on the original path of blessed families. All of you have received many teachings from Father. You also have heard of the path that blessed families should follow. What is left now is how you fulfill your responsibilities, which will guarantee a free and joyful world for your tribes and descendants. Also, our beloved True Mother said, "This is our earnest wish. The day we realize Heavenly Parents' dream and hope on earth during True Parents' lifetime is the day when all people will celebrate and offer glory as sons and daughters of our Heavenly Parent. Hence, I pray there will emerge many proud and victorious blessed families and Cheonbo families in the unification movement who will advance the day and be remembered by history." Aju. So just like, dropping a small stone or a pebble on a pond. You know, it may start small in the beginning, but eventually this will create endless ripples that will continue to expand far and wide. As Cheonbo, we need to continue to create such ripples of expanding the blessing, both in the physical world and in the spiritual world. So let us become treasures of heaven, whom Heavenly Parent and true parents can be proud of. Aju, 감사합니다. Let us all unite with our beloved True Mother in the victorious charge towards heavenly unified Korea and heavenly unified world. Aju.